This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask with your host, Dr. Judith Briles, on the Rockstar Radio Network. On the show today, you'll find out where book publishing is going and how to take advantage of it. How to identify and avoid publishing predators. What opportunities are emerging as the book trade evolves in new forms. How to avoid losing money, and much, much more. Join us now as a variety of publishing pros will deliver insights and strategies to take the author to the next level of publishing. It's your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. Brought to you by Author You and the Book Shepherd on the Rockstar Radio Network. And now, here's your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
Top of the day to all of you on this fabulous day. I'm in my offices in Denver, Colorado, and we have a really warm, for this time of the year, 60 degrees. And in this March with spring coming up in a nanosecond, it seems. And my guest is on the West Coast, so I don't know. She'll tell us what the temp is there, because I always like to kind of know. But here's what we're going to talk about. It doesn't matter where you are, whether it's warm, whether it's a little cool. We're going to bring a quilt to you today because we're talking about Pinterest. And although, as my guest Susan Gilbert will say, it's a virtual corkboard, I always think of it as a giant scrapbook that's a perfect thing to do on a day when you want to just kind of snuggle in and nestle in and go to work. So let me tell you a little bit about Susan. She is the CEO of a company called Online Promotion Success. That's evolved over the years from a very traditional, as in brick and mortar type of thing, business experience, into several cutting-edge projects. She has under her resume web development. She's a pro at social media and search engine marketing promotions. And she's also the co-author of a book called The Complete Idiot's Guide to Starting and Running a Coffee Bar. So she understands what book promotion is all about. And she's also been a really a expert, someone who's cited routinely in USA Today, Entrepreneur Inc. magazine, and so much more. And today we're going to be talking about one of the hottest growing things in the social media platforms, and that's called Pinterest. So I'm very interested in it because yours truly has a book launch happening at the end of this month, which is kind of, if you look at the book, it is a visual smorgasbord. So I'm going to be paying close attention to what she advises. And with that, let's jump into it. Susan, welcome to Your Guide to Book Publishing.
Thank you, Judith. I'm so excited to be here. You know, you've touched on my background, and that really is my passions. I've been marketing for over 25 years, first with my own brick-and-mortar business, and then with a self-published book, The Land of I Can, before I co-authored The Idiot's Guide. So that along with social media, because I was working with social media like before the dawn of Twitter and Facebook, like when they were just, nobody knew what it was. And, you know, I talk about microblogging with Twitter and people go, huh, what's that about? So, you know, I've been doing these things for a long time, and I don't get excited because it's a shiny object. I get excited when I see something that works. So, you know, being able to share that information with people like yourself and your fellow authors and with your upcoming book, I'm very excited to be here. Help me remember, because at the end of the show, I'm going to have a special offer just in honor of your book, Author You.
Ooh,
so help me remember that at the end of the show. Now, I'm outside Seattle, Washington, and spring has sprung. When I get up in the morning, the birds are tweeting, the woodpeckers are pecking, the flowers are popping out of the ground. So that, to me, with spring, you have that whole new energy of things, and so learning something new. And I would imagine that probably we're going to have a wide variety of expertise around Pinterest in your listening audience. Some people maybe haven't even started. Some people have done it, but they're not really feeling any effectiveness. And then we may have some real ninjas, you know, listening. But we'll try to cover it so that there's something in it for everybody.
That's great. Number one, I did write down to come back to a little special treat for everyone at the end. So we'll have that. But I went out and looked out the window of my office, and I actually see about 2 inches of green stuff coming up. So that's very
great.
exciting to me. And then the other thing, I want to say this for all our listeners, that you're talking, at least I'm talking about to me, because Susan was really on the forefront here. But I remember digging in my heels and saying, no way, Jose, am I going to be doing this stuff. I love this stuff. And going into it, I mean, you can't kiss all the girls. You can't do everything. But what you can do is keep your eyes and ears open, and to really determine what platforms and what ways to use social media will tie into your book and other projects to move them forward. And for me, I like Twitter a lot. I like that micro blogging idea of pushing out a whole bunch of stuff all at once. I love having the access of using something like a Hootsuite, or which is what I use primarily for management, but social for any of them, that you can actually plan and strategy. I mean, a lot of people had no idea, Susan, that I was away for 10 days. I mean, I was on land for 3 of them, working and getting ready for the launch of my book later on in this month, and putting the trailers together and the videos and all that kind of thing. But then I got on a ship. Nobody knew I was away because I had set everything up from blogs to Facebook to Twitter and LinkedIn, that those things were going out on a systematic basis as I was going along.
And that what you're really talking about is automation, and I think that's critical. Everybody that I talk to seems to have one form of social media that they prefer. Like for you, it's Twitter. Mm-hmm. For me, it's Facebook. For somebody else, it's going to be Pinterest. But we may have our favorites, but understanding what the benefits, LinkedIn is so entirely different than Pinterest, but it has value. These programs really can help build a business and promote a business. And so, first of all, learning how it works and then automating it really helps take the burden off.
Exactly.
And I really commend you for having done that, gone on a vacation, and had everything in working order.
Yeah, and everything was in working order. And then I came back and announced I had this great time. But here's what's really important, and this is kind of the QT for everybody to understand, is that it is not smart for you, any of you listening in, to announce to the world that you're off in Timbuktu having the time of your life. What you do is you let yourself, you're vulnerable, and you let other people know, because there are scammers out here. There are naughty people out here who actually look for people who say, hey, we're on vacation, because it is so easy to track down people and find your addresses. And when you come back from your vacation, you may find an empty house.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's using online ability smart, and not to, like the people who have posted pictures on Facebook that should never have been up there. You have to be aware that once you put something out there, it's not just for people that you know and trust. Everybody has it. So point well taken.
Exactly. Okay, so let's jump into Pinterest, because one of the things that I'm such a visual person, and so that attracts me. And I do have someone who does post things up on me, because it's again, as you said, you have to kind of figure out what will work for you and focus on that one baby, and then go and kiss some of the others every once in a while. But for Pinterest, I have 3 clients, Susan, who all have cookbooks coming forward.
Oh, that's a perfect.
It's a cat's meow.
Pinterest.
Absolutely. It's a cat's meow for them. And that's probably the most moved around items on Pinterest that you can imagine that's out there. So
Pinterest started, for anyone who isn't aware, it started actually very much like for women who were planning weddings, and they could post the bride's gown, or the bridesmaids' gowns, or the flowers, or the invitations. And, I like your idea of a scrapbook, and the reason why I call it a virtual corkboard is because it's a way, it's those things that we tear out, as you've said, and pin up somewhere, like if you look at the front of your refrigerator, all the stuff that you have there, but you're the only person that gets to see it. And this is a way, it's just a social media way, to be able to share. And so it was the community part of sharing, and then swapping recipes, and then very much do-it-yourself projects, you know, and how-tos with photos. So that's really how this got started. I will say, if we have any male listeners, though, don't be put off by that, because I do believe that more women are using Pinterest than men, but there are more women using social media as a whole, because women relate to each other and they share things more than guys do. So it is for everybody, but that is how it got started. So that'll be phenomenal for your 3 authors that are in the cookbook arena.
There's no question it's perfect for it. But there's also something else that you said before we came on the air, when we were exchanging information between the two of us. And one of the things, and this, now let's really dig down and get serious also into the marketing side of it, because MarketWatch says that Pinterest users are nearly twice as likely to purchase an item that they see, that they connect with, than Facebook users. So let's talk about, Susan, some of the marketing strategies. I know we've got about 2 minutes before our first break here, but let's start jumping into some marketing strategies.
We could definitely do that, but I think we might run out of time. But I'd like to add this to keep us on track with that. When people go to Amazon, they are in a buyer's mode. People buy on Amazon. Yes, they shop, and yes, they put a wish list, but they buy. And what's happened is, because people were looking for things to be able to purchase in the bridal market, in different areas, it became a buying community. Now, we want to be cautious as to the marketing direction, which we'll probably talk best about in the next segment, because Pinterest, there's some stepping stones, since it has a personal flair to it, that if you just jump in and start marketing without understanding the environment of Pinterest, you'll turn everybody off.
Do I dare say this? So we definitely want to talk about it, but I think we want to give a little background before that, so that you understand the culture of Pinterest. Great. Susan, when we come back, we're going to get into the foreplay of Pinterest.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Is there a book in you or another? Author U will show you how to create, develop, and publish your book without being hoodwinked. If you already have a book out, you'll find a supportive and brainstorming community that's connected and creative no matter where you live. Author U brings in national experts for its book camps and annual author extravaganza held each May. It has regular meetings and delivers webinars for its members on timely topics. Through Author U's extensive network, members enjoy exclusive benefits, including significant discounts for a variety of services necessary to publishing. The Resource, its online book publishing news magazine, is content-heavy and it's free. If you want to create a book that has pizzazz, punch, and panache, Author U is for you. If you're a hobbyist or a casual author, it's not. Join Author U today through its website at authoru.org. Follow Author U on Twitter at Author U and on Facebook at Author U, where timely author and publishing tips and articles are posted daily. Author U, where the author goes to become seriously successful.
Do you sell stuff? Do you want to sell books? Lots of them? If yes, you must take credit cards, the most widely used form of payment today. The Free Terminal has created a special program for your guide to book publishing listeners. No contract. All equipment is free. Extremely low rates and no termination fees ever. Contact Alan Dean at alan@thefreeterminal.com or call him at 303-668-6828. The free terminal has handled all credit card transactions for both Author You and Judith for over a year. Don't wait another day. Contact Alan at thefreeterminal.com or call 303-668-6828 and tell him you want the no-contract Author You deal.
Every picture tells a story. And it's a truism that people do judge a book by its cover. Nick Sellinger and NZ Graphics have been in the business of producing superior graphic cover design and interior layout for self-published authors, independent and traditional publishers for years. He has developed a reputation for excellent work, fast turnarounds, and best of all, affordable pricing. NZ Graphics also produces ebooks and book marketing materials such as posters, sell sheets, postcards, bookmarks, business cards, logos, and more. Books designed for his clients have won multiple book awards, including Best Book Award by U.S. Book News, multiple Evie Awards from the Colorado Independent Publishers Association, Indie Book Awards, the San Francisco Book Festival Award, and Freedom Medal Award from Valley Forge. Visit www.nzgraphics.com or call 303-985-4174 for more details about making your book the success it should be. Mention that you are an FOJ, friend of Judith's, and that you heard about NZ Graphics on your guide to book publishing.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
We are doing Pinterest today, and what I was saying on this is that before we went to break, I said she was Susan Gilbert, my expert, who is brilliant at all things promotional in the social media realm, is that what she was describing, some of the things about Pinterest is really almost like a little foreplay to sex, but this is like foreplay to our social media, that you got to warm them up and seduce them and bring them in a little bit. So, Susan.
That's such a funny analogy. And I think it's, using that personal example, Pinterest is all-encompassing. Like when we are book promoters and our business is about book promotion, then we're always talking about all things book promotion. But on Pinterest, book promotion becomes only a piece of who we are. And the ratio tends to be about 60% around your business and 40% around who you are and what your personal interests are. Like my Pinterest account, and I found yours, Judith. We'll talk about it in a minute. But mine is Susan Gilbert, WA, because Susan Gilbert was already taken. So WA stands for Washington. So on my personal Pinterest board, I've got certainly all things social media, marketing maniacs, historical fiction. I love historical fiction, so that's one of my loves, and it's book-oriented. But I also have got coffee, around the coffee world because I had a coffee business. I've got my small dogs because I've got 4 of them. And so all of us who have a business, we aren't just the business. We have kids. My kids are 4-legged. Most people have 2-legged. Decorating things, travel things. And so the board should be all-encompassing so that people, it's always about that interaction and the connection and the community that you are building here and attracting like-minded people. So when we started talking about marketing in the last segment, it's not just in-your-face marketing. It's a much more subtle way to woo people and let them know who we are and what our interests are. Now, when we have a follower on Twitter, they get everything that we put out if we're in their stream. When we're on Facebook, if they're our friend, they're going to get everything that we put out. The interesting thing with Pinterest is that you can follow a person, but you can also follow a board. So that if somebody comes to my Pinterest account and they're only interested in small dogs, that's the only thing that they would follow, is just the board. So it's a very different social media entity in that sense because it segments people out. Now, when we talk about marketing, too, certainly marketing is, here's my product, here's my book, buy it, and we're going to talk about how you can do that on Pinterest. But there's a much more subtle thing that's happening. And what I also mentioned to you, Judith, during the break was that we're covering so much information. And it's, for somebody who's just starting, they'd probably be lost at this point. So I wrote a blog post that was posted today at susangilbert.com on how to get started with Pinterest. Tomorrow, the blog post will be about how to get focused in using it, and then I'll be following up with at least one or two more on more advanced techniques as we move forward. But in this very first post, one of the things that I put is, why should every business owner and blogger care about Pinterest? It's because of the traffic. You will get if you do it right, you will get some amazing traffic to your website, because SEO, as much as it's changing, it's really still about who raises their hand and links back to you and says, yes, this is valuable information. So if in your blogging, if you're using visuals, if you're using good images, people will pin it to their boards if it's applicable.
So they share. It's a not like a tweet it forward, it's a pin it forward.
It is. And then if you have pinned, it gets pinned. So if someone is pinning your photo on your blog post, that's a link going back to your website. If you post one of your images from your website, that's a link. If you just go out and find images on Google or, and certainly it's kind of like the retweets. You don't want to just pin. You do want to repin, just like you want to retweet.
Right.
But it's all about understanding the linking. And we're going to talk, also during this as part of the marketing, people who have their books on Amazon and what you can and can't do. So keep in mind that the subtle thing that you might not be aware of with Pinterest is that the link that comes back to your website will boost the referrals, the number of people who are visiting your website, but it also boosts you in the search engines. Now, here's a really interesting point. I use Google Analytics to track how much traffic I'm getting to any of the websites or any of my clients, and also how long they're staying on any one place, because we know the longer they stay on your website, the better it is.
Are there some averages? I'm curious. Is that people say that the average people are often on a website when they're out there?
Well, Google measures what's called as a bounce, and a bounce is somebody who comes to your homepage and that doesn't go any deeper. They also measure a bounce as somebody who's been on your sites for just a few seconds and then leaves. So the longer somebody stays and the more they navigate through your site, Google ranks you on that. You have more credibility if people stay longer. And what I have found is the people who are coming to my website from Pinterest stay the longest and navigate more through my site than any other way.
How interesting. So what's considered a long time? Are we talking about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? What are we talking about?
Well, it all depends upon your website, and it depends upon whether you're using video, which, by the way, you can pin video to Pinterest. But I would say if you've got somebody who has stayed on your website for 5 or 6 minutes, that's great. If they're there for less than a minute, that's bad.
Okay.
And the average that somebody's going to be there is about how long it takes for them to read whatever it is that you've posted. So if you only post a very short blog post, they're not going to be there very long. If you post how-tos like the Pinterest that I'm talking about that we posted today, that's a long article, and it's packed full of information, but that's also, it works both ways. I'm providing information, valuable information to people, but they're staying on my site longer.
Got it. Well, I mean, just this discussion says, okay, I got to get off my tush, and I've got to go back and really do a lot of updatings on, because I have a whole bunch more stuff to add. So I'll probably spend 1 hour to 2 hours doing a massive update on my Pinterest sites. I can see that happening.
And again, keeping it in mind, what is the goal? I'm very strategy-oriented, and even though I love all things online and social media, what's really interesting is I'm a tree hugger. I mean, I would just as soon be happy hiking in the woods, with my dogs. I'm not somebody who is hugely, got to have my smartphone, got to be tapping it, got to be sending out. I am not like that. I'm like what you described, Judith, in getting things set up so that strategically I know what I want that particular function, say Pinterest, to accomplish in my business, and then have ways to be able to measure it and then tweak it as to what's working and not working.
Perfect. All right. So we have about a minute before we go to our bottom of the hour break. And then what I want to do, Susan, is really get back to some how-tos as we move into this. But let's see if we can do a setup here as we go along. We've got a minute to go before we do this first break, the second break, I should say. And
okay,
so what should we be thinking as we come out of here?
Well, I think that understanding that Pinterest is more than just putting your products up, and we're going to talk about how you can get into the gift section and market when we come back. That'll be a good thing to go over. But that Pinterest is all-encompassing, just like we as human beings are all-encompassing, and you want to be able to share more about who you are as a person and build that interest so that they say, maybe I kind of like Susan. She likes small dogs, or maybe they take a look at it and say, she likes small dogs. I like big ones. I'm out of here. So
got it. All right.
You have to be willing to share who you are.
All right. So when we come back, we're going to share who you are. You're going to learn how to. Maybe Susan will mention how to get the videos up. Also on Pinterest. I'm interested in that since I do a video blog every week. This is Judith Briles. It's your guide to book publishing. We'll be right back.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Since 1987, Color House Graphics has set the standard for quality book production. Whether you decide to print a small quantity of books or need a large print run, depend on Color House to help you. You'll receive professional help and advice the moment you reach one of our representatives. If you mention hearing about us on your guide to book publishing with Judith Briles, we will provide you a discount on the first order you place. To speak with a project manager, call us toll-free at 800-454-1916 or visit us at www.colorhousegraphics.com.
When Ned Thompson and Harry Shore started Thompson Shore in 1972, they believed employees with great character would make up the best company. They were right. They hired people who were not only experts in bookmaking, but who were obsessed with quality and delivering exceptional customer service. Almost 40 years later, Thompson Shore remains a 100% employee-owned company. Ned and Harry knew that successful customer projects are a direct result of empowered employees. We specialize in all books for large and small publishers. Creating beautiful and well-made books, we're dedicated to pleasing our customers by making the experience a good one from start to finish. The personal touch we have with our customers allows us to be innovative in solving their most difficult challenges. Our platform also ensures that we can remain flexible to meet our customers' unique needs and expectations. Our marketing kit can create buzz for your title, enhancing the promotion of your book during infancy. When you need to test the market to gauge your future sales, we can provide digitally printed books that will transition seamlessly into a larger offset run. From ebook to hard copy to delivery, our skillful customer service teams are at the ready to answer your most pressing question. At Thompson Shore, we know that making the highest quality books requires more than just best technologies. It requires superior customer service, professionalism to the trade, and commitment to environmental and social values. With these standards of excellence in place, you can be sure that we will always help you put your best book forward.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. Coming up, you'll hear more about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, so as we do every show, at the bottom of the hour, we bring on one of our very cool sponsors. I love to have Dave Raymond on, and I was so jazzed with one of the tips he gave me that I said, wrote it down saying, when I do this little book, Dave's going to be the one that puts together in printing because he gave me the idea. But Dave Raymond is with Thompson Shore. He will be at the Author U Extravaganza. He's one of our favorite sponsors. How are you, Dave?
Good, Judith. Thank you for having me on.
And what revealing tip are you going to tell us about today?
Well, I want to talk a little bit to your audience about paper weights.
Oh, good idea.
And those being the kind of mostly what thicknesses of paper you have in a book versus those things you put on your desk to keep wind from causing havoc in your paper. What we have is I'll use basically two normal paper weights. And, for example, a 50-pound paper compared to a 60-pound paper. And the 50-pound, the lower the poundage is going to be the thinner the paper, so clearly the higher poundage will be the thicker paper. And printers buy paper by the pound, and we sell it by the pound. So a little example, on for example, a book that contains 320 pages, on a 50-pound paper, that book, when it's all manufactured and the cover's on it, will weigh approximately 12 ounces, one book. Now, compare that to a book of 320 pages, the same trim size. In a 60-pound paper, that book is going to weigh roughly 14 ounces. So it's roughly a 10%. Every time you go up 10 pounds on a paper, whether you're going from even 45 to a 55-pound paper, that's a 10-pound increment, the paper price is going to go up roughly 10%, which is the same as my example was 50-pound to 60-pound. That paper price is going to go up basically 10%. So let's look at quickly 1,000 copies of that same 320-page book. Roughly, the 320-page book on a 50-pound paper for 1,000 copies, you'll pay roughly $3.60 a book. That same exact specifications, putting out a little bit thicker paper, say a 60-pound, it's going to go to $3.96 a book, so roughly an increase of 36 cents per book, or 10%. Now, we have some publishers who they won't even send us in what weight they want because we've worked with them so long, we know what they want. And a lot of publishers kind of use this as a guideline. It's going to depend on what your market is, and most people honestly do tell us what weight of paper they have, but we might suggest something else to save them money. For example, a lot of publishers we work with, if the page count is anywhere from 64 pages to 256 pages, they always put it on a 60-pound paper. They want to bulk that book up a little bit, which the 60-pound provides. Now, if it goes over 256 pages, the rule of thumb is they'll bring it down to a 50-pound paper, which, again, is a little bit thinner, and will save them money by going to the thinner paper. So it's kind of just a a rough idea there. And there's other weights that can be used, but those are the most popular, 50 and 65 pounds.
Okay. And then before you leave, I have one quick question. What happens if you want to use color in your paper? Because not all books should be glossy throughout, have that glossier text that you see on some of the printed pictures. So what kind of paperweight would be appropriate for that?
Well, that's a great question, Judith. When you're printing in color, you generally will use a coated paper, and the reason is you'll get a sharper image on a coated paper because the ink will absorb into the sheet. We generally use a 70-pound coated paperweight.
So color, besides the print, using color print, ink is going to bump it up. So is the paperweight because of the absorption and all that.
Yes.
All right. Great. Thanks for the information. Dave Raymond, Thompson Shore. We'll see you in May at the Extravaganza.
Looking forward to seeing everyone. Thank you, Judith.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Susan, we are going to start off here. We're back. Did you know all that about paper, by the way?
I didn't.
I
self-published over 12 years ago, but it was a gift book. It's a very different kind of thing. But no, I had no idea that all those different weights made a difference.
Well, the common is 50 to 60 pounds. You'll see those deal. But that mark, that 10% increase in price, as well as that 10, that was kind of good information to have. I think that all of us should be paying attention to that. But if you don't want a book that feels too thin, you need that 60-pound weight. So with that said, let's talk about weighty stuff. Let's talk about how do we sell products on Pinterest? And I'm interested in getting video on, but we also need, you had some really good information I think that all of us need to hear about, which is how do we position our books from Amazon onto our Pinterest account so they can buy off of Amazon? Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, we're going to talk about how to put the little banner across a pin, an image, with the price will show up, and when you do that, it will automatically go into the gift department at Pinterest. Did you know there's different departments and different categories, and so you can do that and get your book in the gift department.
How many
so
departments
let's talk about
do they
that
have?
first.
Yeah, how many?
And then we'll talk about Amazon. Now, here's the really interesting thing. All you have to do is in your description put the price. You know, like if it's $9.95, you put the $sign 9.95. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. And when you save it, it will put a little banner across the top left corner of the image, and it will put it in the gift section. Now, when Pinterest first made this available, it was really buggy. You know, you could put in the $9.95 or whatever the price was that you're pricing, and sometimes it saved and sometimes it didn't. Most of the time now it does, but just know that if that doesn't work, it's not that you're doing something wrong. Just come back to Pinterest an hour later and see if it's as buggy. Because
and so
all
what
these
you're
social
saying,
media sites, you know, they're free, and they don't always work 100%, but it's simply as easy as just using the $sign and putting the price and pressing save.
And so what you're saying is that once you do the $sign, the price, and save, it's automatic and that banner comes up.
Yep.
How fabulous is that?
Yeah, 99% of the time, like I said, if it doesn't work, it's not you, because Pinterest is known to be buggy in that area, but it's gotten a lot better. And it not only adds the banner with the price, so it's like it's flagging this is for sale. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is it'll end up in the gift department. I mean, is that cool or what?
How many departments does Pinterest have right now? Do you know?
Oh, gosh, they have added. Let me see here. Let's take a look at the main. Oh, it's like Amazon. They've got the home feed and then popular, everything, gifts, videos, animals, architecture, art, cars and motorcycles, celebrities. I mean, that's alphabetical, and we're only on C. So you can see that when you're looking at Pinterest, look in the upper left-hand corner to the left of the search box, and it will bring down the menu of all the items, all the categories.
All right. So for everyone who's on their Pinterest accounts or are going to create them, once you get your profile and your photo or logo or whatever you do your image, right to the right above that will be the search box, and then to the left of that you can find all the gadgets.
Yeah, and that this brings up an interesting point that I hadn't thought to mention, but I'm going to make sure I put it in the blog post that I'm creating, is that I cannot tell you how many times I've seen clients who have pinned an image but not put it into a category. And if you don't choose a category, then someone who is searching categorically won't find that pin. So as part of the description, there's a little drop down below the description to choose a category. Now you could save that pin without creating a category, but if you want to show up in a category, choose it and then press save.
So the pin is the pin you're referring to the boards, or is this another? Well,
there's a board, and then there's a pin within the board.
Okay.
The board are the different topics, and then the pins get pinned to that board.
So you keep you're organized. What the boards do is keep you organized.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it keeps people find that it's such a viral. I mean, all social media can be and was created to be, but Pinterest is hugely viral because of all this pinning and repinning and boards and sharing, and then we get followers, and you're following people, and it's quite amazing.
Okay, so we've got the banner up. I can't believe we're coming 2 minutes to another commercial again, but we've got the banner up. And so what are some of the tips that you might give that if you were doing a 1, 2, 3 to promo yourself out there, besides putting your product up, putting the visual, and getting your prices so you got the banner, what would you do?
Well, the first thing that and again, it was kind of, we're almost into the Pinterest how-tos, but we didn't talk about it, and it's hugely important, is make sure you have your branding. How do you want to be known? Now, I started on Pinterest so long ago, all we really did was personal, but there are business, accounts that you can set up now. And so I've kept mine personal, but know what your brand is. Just like I've got my blog, SusanGilbert.com, and it's more personal, but I also have my business, Online Promotion Success. So Online Promotion Success, I haven't done it, to be honest, but it could be a business account. And
all right, so for mine, and the branding, for me, I've got the Book Shepherd or Book Shepherd.
Exactly, yeah. When I found yours, it wasn't under your name, it's under Book Shepherd. So that is your business brand, and you do still want to do the personal side of it, but I think knowing when you are creating that strategy, knowing, are you doing this to position yourself as a
Susan, we're back tunes. Okay, we're back with our final break here, so we'll come back and we will really hit into the how-tos 1, 2, 3.
This is your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles. And we'll be right back with more great information right after these on the Rockstar Radio Network.
Do you sell stuff? Do you want to sell books? Lots of them? If yes, you must take credit cards, the most widely used form of payment today. The free terminal has created a special program for your guide to book publishing listeners. No contract. All equipment is free. Extremely low rates and no termination fees ever. Contact Alan Dean at alan@thefreeterminal.com or call him at 303-668-6828. The free terminal has handled all credit card transactions for both author you and Judith for over a year. Don't wait another day. Contact Alan at thefreeterminal.com or call 303-668-6828 and tell him you want the no contract author you deal.
The book shepherding concept is simple. The publishing world is changing, and so must you. You need an experienced shepherd and a guide to partner with you as you create, strategize, develop, publish, and achieve your publishing goals. You can't do it alone without paying the price. You can spend your money creating a book that turns out to be so-so, or you can create a book that looks and feels classy, builds your brand, and is a financial success, a bestseller. It's your choice. You choose. You need the Book Shepherd. Publishing is riddled with obstacles, sometimes nightmares for the author. You don't need problems. You want solutions. Dr. Judith Briles will shepherd you through the maze and the chaos. At times, she's had to step in and rescue a book that has been sabotaged by a publisher or by a publishing service provider or sometimes even the author themselves. Judith Briles is the Book Shepherd if you want to create a book with no regrets. Give her a call today, 303-885-2207. That's 303-885-2207, or email her at judith@briles.com. By the way, Briles is spelled B-R-I-L-E-S. Follow Judith on Twitter at My Book Shepherd and on Facebook at The Book Shepherd.
At Total Printing Systems, customer service is our priority. We are located in Southern Illinois. Our employees have an average of 18 years experience and know that customer relationships are important to our continued success. We have been a short-run book printer for nearly 40 years and always stay at the forefront of technology. Our niche is from 1 to 5,000 copies. Today, we offer digital, black and white, and 4-color high-speed inkjet printing, a cost-effective way to introduce color into your short-run titles. We, of course, offer traditional offset printing as well. Bindery is done in-house, from adhesive case binding to PUR perfect binding to mechanical binding of all types, including side sewing. We provide warehousing, kitting, distribution, inventory management, a new print-on-demand facility, streaming browser-based ebooks, and bookstore. Call us at 1-800-465-5200 for a quote on your next book project. You can also visit our website at www.tps1.com.
Welcome back to your guide to book publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask on the Rockstar Radio Network. If you want to write and publish a book, if you want to be successful as an author, your guide to book publishing, everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask, is for you. Stay tuned and you'll hear about statistics, scenarios, and strategies on what to do now to get you published. So let's get back to the show. And here again is your host, Dr. Judith Briles.
All right, we're having too much fun. We're going too fast. We're going to stop talking. We're going to go boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
Susan Gilbert is our expert today. We're talking about Pinterest, and actually we've got a great tip on how to get that banner up for especially if you've got a book for sale.
So super easy. Let's cover the Amazon the video, and I'll make sure that I get that offer in. It's going to actually be a 99-cent sale. So anyway, Amazon, you have to use an Amazon affiliate account and then use your Amazon affiliate link, place that link on your website, and then pin that to Pinterest. You can't pin directly from Amazon to Pinterest. You'll lose your account. And you can't pin, even if you're logged in as an affiliate, you can't just add your affiliate link. Pinterest was attracting, as happens, affiliate marketers, because affiliate marketers are usually on the leading edge of, wow, people are buying. So they made it possible still for you to pin your products, whether it's your book or any product from Amazon, but you have to follow the methodology. And I'm going to cover this in one of the blog posts so that it's more clear than in the short amount of time that we have here. But just know that you don't want to lose, just like you want to always play by the rules with social media. And the rules with Pinterest is that you can't just directly pin an affiliate link. You can't just pin an image from Amazon. It has to be that two-part process of signing up for an affiliate account, using the affiliate link to add it to your website, and then pinning the image from your website. And then you've met all the rules.
All right, so, and what you're saying, it's affiliate, it's not associate. So this is for the people who have...
Well, yeah, associates, Amazon Associates is the affiliate program for Amazon.
So what about the people, our listeners who are in the States that Amazon threw under the bus?
They can't do it then.
We can't do it. Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
So,
nope. So, and again, I'll cover that in one of the blog posts that I'm making. But that's just, some people get excited. They go, oh, I'll pin my Amazon link, and then boom, they've lost their Pinterest account. And I just forewarning, don't do that.
All right. So that's a
So
important thing to say.
So we've talked about two ways that you could market your book. One of them is with the gift banner. The other one is with Amazon, because Amazon will rank your book based on how many times people are clicking on that link. It's not just how many people are buying, but they'll rank it just from the clicking. So if you want people to start clicking, you have to follow the rules on how to make that happen.
Wait a minute. This is new information. My understanding always was the only way you get ranked in Amazon on your sales is if people actually buy a book.
No. That is certainly the swiftest, fastest way, and I don't want to make people think that they can just sit there and click on their link all day long, because Amazon's too smart for that, to have, IP addresses and so on and so forth. It is a minor factor, but it is a factor, because they want to know how many people are searching for your book. They want to know how many people are reading about your book. You know how good Amazon is, or how rabid they are, quite frankly, about tracking. And so they're watching how many people are clicking through to take a look at a particular book.
Wow. Well, that's really interesting information. Okay, let's talk about video.
Okay, video, this is another really super easy one, just like adding the dollar amount is when you create a pin and you're adding the link, you just add the video link. And then in the description, you write a description of the video. And then you have pinned your video.
So, Susan, now we're going to talk about ranking. Like, for example, we put my stuff up on YouTube, but does it make sense to do the link to YouTube, or do you go to your website, or
it's the link? So within your YouTube channel, you have multiple videos, and each video has a different link.
Correct.
So it's the individual video link that you would pin to whatever applicable board, and when you enter that link into the link space, you would then write a description of what it was, choose the category so that you show up in those category listings, and then press save, and you have now pinned your video.
So, I can't stress enough what Susan has said. She said just in that paragraph you said basically was, she said descriptions twice. It is really imperative to give them in one sentence, because you want to keep it short here in your descriptions, that what it is about. So when they're perusing things, that they know whether or not it's a quick hook and they can go into it. Sometimes also I would add on to your description, let them know how long that video is. Is it 3 minutes? Is it 10 minutes? Help them out.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. Great idea, Judith. And then so that we don't run out of time, as I mentioned, I'm putting blog posts up that are very similar in content to a book, an e-book that I have for sale. It's $9.95. But if you want that, it's called How to Be Pinteresting. So if you want that e-book, it's priced at $9.95. And you want it all, like if you want to have it saved as a PDF, there's also a tips sheet that goes 75 tips on using Pinterest that goes with the ebook. I'm doing, and here's a really funny thing. When I was trying to find author you on Pinterest, Judith, I was typing Y-O-U instead of the U, because I was thinking of your book.
That's the name of my book.
Yes, that's the name of your book. So in honor of you and author you, your book, when you get to the checkout section, if you type in all lowercase, no space, author Y-O-U, so it's AUTHORYOU, it will give a discount so that will be 99 cents. So you have a couple different ways to find out more details about Pinterest. One of them is just go to follow my blog posts and see what's there. If you want to have it all compiled in one area as a PDF, then in honor of you and author you, then I decided to have a 99-cent sale for you.
Ooh, I love 99 sales. So I'm going to take out, and I'm going to tweet that out to my 25,000 people who follow me and and get that going, because that's the kind of thing that you want to do. Any of our listeners, for all this promotional things, is that you want to make sure that when you hear stuff, share it and move it around. And I remember talking to Guy Kawasaki, who we had on the show a little bit ago, and in the tweet land, Guy actually tweets the same tweet at least 8 times.
Oh, yep. Because that stuff comes through in a nanosecond.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Tweets have a life of 15 seconds, you know, on one side. You know, up to it could go maybe 45 minutes if you have a very slow stream or limited followers. But when you start working with people who have thousands of followers, it's gone in a nanosecond.
Yep.
So you do want to keep it going. All right, Susan, we have about 4 minutes that we can go through a couple.
Oh, yay. Okay. So let's see let me take a look here and tell you some things that I think
actually it's 3 minutes. Sabrina
3
says.
minutes, okay.
Yeah, 3 minutes, but that's okay.
One of the things you might not think about, but it is a marketing thing, is that when you're naming your boards, name it something catchy. Because, again, people, we all have so much information. We have so many things. You want to make sure people know what your board is about, but what would catch their eyes? I've got copy with a question mark. I've got marketing maniacs. So think about what will make your board stand out and make somebody want to follow that board or follow you. And I think that's a critical part of marketing, because that's what we want. We want to become the trusted source of information so that people will follow, because that's how we do business online. And we don't want to be just self-promotional, but we're always selling.
Exactly. Well, Susan, I want to thank you for being with us this afternoon. There's a lot of information. I'm going to encourage everyone to go to Susan Gilbert, Gilbert, SusanGilbert.com. Look at her blogs. In fact, just subscribe to them. And because there's a lot of really high content, detailed information, you'll learn a lot. That is if you want to be seriously successful. If you really want to know how to market yourself, your books, whatever products you have, this is really what you have to tune into. And for those of you who are still social media resistant, all I can say is just get over it. Get over it. Because you have to move with it. So, Susan, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me to share this with you and your listeners, and I look forward to coming back at a future time.
Yep, and remember, when you go to her blog and her website and go to the blog, if you put in the discount is author U, Y-O-U in this case, you'll get it down to 99 cents, which is always quite lovely. I like those kind of things. Wonderful. All right, so just a reminder to all our listeners, the Author U Extravaganza is coming up May 2nd through 4th. The place is Denver, Colorado. To get information on that, we only have 30 seats left. You go to authorU.org. Just click on the extravaganza and all the details. The entire agenda is there, and we'll see you in Denver.
Thank you for being a part of Your Guide to Book Publishing. Everything you want to know but didn't know what to ask. With your host, Dr. Judith Briles.